They judged him in seconds. A glance. A whisper. Turned shoulder. What they never saw were the nights he didn't sleep, the promises he buried, or the years it took just to survive. This isn't the story they thought they knew. It's the one that took a lifetime to live. The first thing people noticed about Daniel Carter was the scar. It ran from his left temple down toward his jaw, pale and uneven, like a crack in porcelain. Some people tried not to stare. Most failed. Others didn't bother hiding it at all. Their eyes would flicker, linger, then quickly move away as if they'd touched something hot. Daniel felt it every time. He felt it on the subway when conversations lowered as he walked past. He felt it in grocery store lines when parents pulled their children a little closer. He felt it during job interviews when smiles tightened and eyes searched for something wrong that wasn't written on his resume. He learned early that people decided who he was before he ever spoke. Dangerous, unstable, trouble. None of it was true, but Daniel stopped correcting them years ago. Explaining took energy, and energy was something he'd learned to save. That morning, the city was wrapped in gray. Rain clung to the sidewalks, turning the streets into mirrors that reflected tired faces and blinking traffic lights. Daniel stood outside a small cafe on 9th Avenue, adjusting the strap of his worn messenger bag. Inside, the windows glowed warm and yellow. It smelled like coffee and bread and comfort. He hesitated before opening the door. "You're just here to work," he told himself. "Fix the boiler. That's it." Still, his hand paused on the handle. Inside, the cafe buzzed with quiet life. Cups clinked. A soft song played overhead. Behind the counter stood a woman with chestnut hair pulled into a loose knot. Her name tag read Maya. She looked up when the bell chimed. For half a second, her smile was automatic. Then she saw his face. Daniel caught it. He always did. The flicker. The recalculation. "Hi," he said gently. "I'm here about the boiler." Maya blinked, then nodded. "Right. The back's through there." Her voice was polite. Professional. Guarded. Daniel walked past tables filled with laptops and half-finished pastries. He kept his eyes down, not because he was ashamed, but because eye contact invited questions he didn't want to answer. In the back room, the boiler hummed angrily, leaking steam like it was exhausted from trying. Daniel knelt, tools in hand. His movements confident and practiced. Fixing things made sense. Machines didn't judge. They just broke, and if you listened closely enough, they told you how to help. As he worked, memories crept in uninvited. The smell of antiseptic. The beeping of hospital monitors. His mother's hand trembling in his. "Danny," she'd whispered, tears sliding into her hair. "Whatever happens, be kind. Don't let the world harden you." He swallowed and tightened a valve. The boiler sighed, then quieted. When Daniel returned to the counter, Maya looked surprised. "That was fast," she said. He shrugged. "It wanted to be fixed." She almost smiled at that. "Almost. How much do I owe you?" he told her. She nodded and rang it up. As she handed him the receipt, her fingers brushed his. She flinched, barely noticeable but enough. Daniel pretended not to see. Outside, the rain had stopped, leaving the city damp and breathing. Daniel exhaled slowly. Another job done. Another place where he'd be remembered not for his work, but for his face. He didn't blame them. Not really. Years ago, before the scar, before the silence, before survival became his only real skill, Daniel had been someone else. Back then, his hands were always clean. Back then, his mother was still alive. Back then, he believed effort was enough. He'd been 22, working construction by day and taking night classes, saving every spare dollar to help his mom get treatment. Cancer didn't care about dreams or schedules. It arrived fast and demanded everything. Insurance ran out first. Then savings. Then hope. Daniel remembered the night he made the choice. The hospital hallway smelled like lemon cleaner and fear. A man in a leather jacket leaned against the vending machine, speaking softly to a nurse Daniel recognized. When the man noticed Daniel watching, their eyes met. You look like someone who needs money, the man said casually. Daniel should have walked away. Instead, he listened. That one decision became many. Small at first. Carrying packages. Asking no questions. Then driving. Then guarding. The scar came later, the night everything went wrong. A deal fell apart. Someone panicked. A bottle shattered. Daniel felt heat explode across his face, and then darkness swallowed him whole. He woke up in a hospital bed, his mother gone. No goodbye. No forgiveness. Just silence. The world judged him from that day on, but it never asked why. And Daniel never volunteered the answer. That afternoon, as he walked toward his next job, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He ignored it. Buzzed again. Daniel, a voice said when he finally answered. Familiar. It's been a long time. His stomach tightened. I don't do that anymore, Daniel said quietly. There was a pause. Then I know. That's why I'm calling. Daniel stopped walking. The city kept moving around him, unaware that the past had just reached out and grabbed his shoulder. Just talk, the voice said. Coffee. No business. Daniel closed his eyes. He thought of his mother. Of Maya's guarded smile. Of the boiler that just needed someone to listen. Fine, he said. One coffee. He hung up, knowing some stories don't stay buried. They wait. The cafe Daniel chose for the meeting wasn't Maya's. He didn't want familiarity muddying his focus. This place was quieter, tucked between a bookstore and a nail salon, the kind of spot where people minded their own business. The man arrived early. Victor Hale hadn't changed much. Same sharp jaw. Same calm eyes that always seemed to know more than they revealed. He stood when Daniel walked in, offering a hand. Daniel didn't take it. Victor smiled anyway. You look alive. That's something. Daniel sat across from him. Say what you need to say. Victor studied him, not rudely, but with something close to respect. You disappeared after that night. I almost died, Daniel replied. Victor nodded. So did a lot of people. Silence settled between them. I heard about your mother, Victor said softly. I'm sorry. Daniel's jaw tightened. Don't. Victor raised his hands. Fair enough. A waitress came by. Daniel ordered black coffee. Victor ordered the same. When she left, Victor leaned forward. There's a kid, he said. Name's Eli. He's in trouble. Daniel laughed once, humorless. You're unbelievable. I'm serious, Victor said. He reminds me of you. That's not a compliment. Victor didn't smile. It's a warning. Daniel stared into the table. He didn't want to care. Caring was expensive. I don't do rescues, Daniel said. You fix broken things, Victor replied. I've seen it. Daniel stood. Find someone else. Victor's voice followed him. He's already made one mistake. Same as you. Daniel froze. The rain started again outside, light but persistent. What do you want me to do? Daniel asked without turning around. Talk to him, Victor said. That's it. Daniel exhaled slowly. One conversation. Eli lived in a cramped apartment with peeling paint and thin walls. He was 19. Skinny. Nervous. His eyes darted constantly, like the world was one wrong move away from collapse. When Daniel walked in, Eli stiffened. You're him? Eli asked. Daniel nodded. I'm not here to judge you. Eli scoffed. Everyone says that. I mean it, Daniel said. Judging's easy. Living's not. They talked for hours. About money. About fear. About how fast bad choices start to feel like the only choices. Daniel told him about his mother. About the scar. About the night he lost everything. Eli listened, silent, eyes wide. I don't want to end up like that, Eli whispered. Then don't, Daniel said. But understand this. Nobody's coming to save you. You have to walk away yourself. When Daniel left, Eli hugged him without asking. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. The next morning he returned to Maya's cafe. The boiler held steady. Maya looked up and hesitated, then smiled. Really smiled. "Coffee's on me," she said. Daniel paused. "You don't have to." "I know," she replied. "But I want to." As she handed him the cup, she looked at his scar, then at his eyes. "My brother has one like that," she said quietly. "People assume things." Daniel met her gaze. "They usually do." She hesitated. "You want to sit?" He did. They talked. About nothing. About everything. For once, Daniel felt seen. Outside, the rain stopped. Some judgments fade. Others take time. Months passed. Daniel kept working. Boilers. Elevators. Broken doors. Slowly, his name spread. Not for his face, but for his reliability. Eli stayed out of trouble. He got a job. Called Daniel every Sunday. Victor disappeared again. And Maya became something else. They walked together after closing. Shared quiet dinners. Laughed softly. One night, as they stood under flickering streetlights, Maya touched Daniel's scar. "Does it still hurt?" she asked. "Sometimes," he said. She nodded. "Me too." He understood she wasn't talking about skin. The city still judged him. But it mattered less now. Because Daniel knew who he was. And sometimes that's enough.